Welcome, everyone, to Chart's webinar. Today, we welcome back Joel Zeff, who has spoken at Chart twice, two of our conferences, and was very well received. And so we have asked him to join us today to do a webinar. Welcome, Jeff. Joel.
Tara, we talked about
I
this.
was there. I was there.
So give Tara a big hand for calling me Jeff at the webinar. Luckily, I'm not getting paid, so no big deal. Thank you. Well, welcome everybody. Thank you, Chart, for the opportunity to spend some time with you today. The goal is to have fun. We're going to talk about teamwork. We're going to talk about change. We're going to talk about leadership. We're also going to give some ideas about how to appreciate your team. Some fun ideas that I've collected along the way through some of my events, 2,500 different events. And so I want to share with you some of ways to interact and engage with your team members that I thought was really fun, and I want to share with you. And that are all those ideas are also in my book, Make the Right Choice, Lead with Passion, Elevate Your Team, and Unleash the Fun at Work. So let's get going. For this webinar, I don't see everybody. Sometimes I do these Zoom webinars and I see everybody. So I'm going to just assume that you're doing all these things that we're going to talk about. So first, and I see in the chat, we've talked about the ta-da a few times. So all my sessions, whether I'm live, whether I'm virtual, it's all about the ta-da, the creating energy and celebrating our success. Remember, ta-da is a flourish. We're proud, we're excited, we're confident. And so before we go any further, even though I don't see you, know that we've logged on. I've got an incredible crew here. We've gone through all your security protocols, and so I can see you on a different monitor. All right, so I know whether you're doing all of this. And I'm talking to you, James Frank, and Renee, and Clarice, and Jay. Thank you for joining us. So before we go any further, let's do a big ta-da chart style on the count three. 1, 2, 3, ta-da! That's very good. Give yourselves a big round of applause. Awesome. Remember, that round of applause is important. I'm very lucky I have a job where I get a round of applause. Most people don't have that job. Doesn't mean we don't deserve it, and how important that appreciation and that positive support is. Now, when we talk about fun, when we talk about appreciating our team members, sometimes there's some myths about fun. The first myth is fun will interrupt, that fun will interrupt our business. It will interrupt our business. That's the whole point. That fun is about engagement, right? It's about refueling. It's about creating that passion and energizing us. If we don't make time for fun, how do we have that fuel? How do we have that passion? Yes, we all have serious business and serious work, and we do serious things, but we have to take time to process. We have to take time to refuel, to re-energize. And so the myth that fun will interrupt, yes, it will interrupt. That's the whole point. Number 2 myth, that we don't have time, for fun. And it's important that we make time, because if we're not having fun, how are we truly happy? How are we engaged? It's important that our team is excited about what's happening, because when they have passion for something, and that's the goal, right? And when we hire, there's nothing in the documentation that says you have to have passion for this job, right? We want that passion. We want that team member to have that passion, but there's nothing that says you have to have passion. And so what happens is we have to create the foundation for that passion to exist, right? And what it's about, creating that responsibility, creating that ownership. When the team has ownership, they start to care. When they start to care, then they have passion. And of course, fun is part of that. And if we don't have time, we can't use that chemistry. We can't create that fun. So remember, it's about creating ownership and responsibility. And then number 2, people start to care. We care when we have that ownership, when we have that responsibility. And when we care, all of a sudden we're going to have passion, right? So it's fun, yes, will interrupt. That's the whole point. 2, yes, we have to make time for fun. Another myth associated with fun is that it's offensive. Fun could offend people. We could do something, we could use humor and it will offend. And that is, you have to think about that. And you have to think about it the right way. Fun should be always inclusive. It should include everybody. If what you're doing is not including everybody, then we're not talking about fun. We're not talking about what's important to energize us. So fun should not offend. Fun should not exclude. Fun should not be at the expense of others. It's about being inclusive and including everyone, right? There's another myth that I talk about in my book, is that we're not a fun company, right? And I know a lot of you have the cultures that fun is a big part of what you do and how you engage with your customers. We all manufacture, distribute, sell, customer service. Everything that we do, you could say is, well, we're not a fun company. But we should have fun. We should create that fun because it's a big part of everything that we do. And fun means something different for everybody. My fun is going to be different than your fun. It's going to be different than your team's fun. When was the last time you asked what makes you happy? What makes your team happy? What makes someone fulfilled and rewarded? And you're going to be surprised by the answer. You're going to be surprised what you can create to make that fun happen. So yes, we should be fun and should be described as a fun company. And so we have to create and take time for that fun. And what I want to do is talk about a few ideas that create fun that I collected in my book. The first one is about appreciation, and it's called Tip of the Hat. And I was working with a client, and before they start every meeting, they have a slide comes up, says tip of the hat, and they take 5 minutes, and anybody can stand and give an appreciation to someone in the audience. Somebody did something, somebody said something, somebody helped, somebody was a mentor, everything that they did that deserved that appreciation. And it really created this incredible energy. And I want to call out my friend Kelly at Whataburger. She has incorporated that tip of the hat in her events and meetings. And it's important because it's so easy to appreciate people. And we forget to take time. We forget that we need to say, this is our moment. Because if we don't, sometimes we go through the whole day and we forget to give that appreciation. We forget to give that positive support. And that's what, again, fuels us. And so when we create these opportunities and say, when we start every meeting, we're going to have 5 minutes and we're going to say, tip of the hat. And anybody can stand and give that recognition. And it's all part of that huge opportunity to create positive support for each other. So that's one of my favorite. Another favorite idea was using video to appreciate team members and managers. I was at an event, and before each manager spoke, they showed a video on the screen, and it was just done by iPhone, very low key, very easy, and it was just asking one of their team members who inspires them. And so they had these inspiration videos where their team members would say, this manager inspires me, why? And I would say probably 9 out of 10 videos, there were tears in the audience because of how honest, how authentic the videos were. And it really, it was just inspiring on so many different levels. And it's so easy to create those videos. Not just what manager inspires me, because this was a leadership conference, but for the managers to create those videos for their team members. Why do you inspire me? And it's very easy to use whatever technology that you have to post these videos, to send these videos. And again, it's easy, it's simple. And if we create these windows, when we create these areas that we appreciate, we create these positive support, it just becomes part of the culture, and it becomes part of what we're doing and making sure that we think about appreciation and positive support. Another idea, one of my absolute all-time favorite ideas, is I was went to a client's office. There was this huge painting on the wall, and each had squares. So it was a almost as big as this wall behind me, and they probably had a 1 foot by 1 foot square over maybe 24 squares, and there was something in each square. And so I asked my client what that painting was about, and she said that they could not put any decorations, could not change anything on this white wall. So she had the idea. She bought this huge canvas. She took some black paint and created these squares, and then she invited her team members, 4 at a time, to do anything they want in that square that showed who they were, that personalized. And so they would make each square, and they would do this in 15-minute or 20-minute intervals, and it would, take, it was over a several week time period, and they would create these personalized squares. And then you had this immediate piece of art that really connected everybody on the team. And what that did was, what do you think was happening when 4 or 5 people were painting their squares? They talked, they laughed, they had fun. This was remember, one of the myths, this was a very serious company that did very serious work. And they found time to have a little fun. And the sprinkles on the cupcake is that they built respect and they connected. And so all that time spent on that painting was going to be used the next time they had a challenge or an obstacle or a tough time. They were going to be able to really reflect on that time because they'd already connected, they had already bonded, they already created that respect. And it's just, again, taking a few moments, creating these opportunities with your team to engage, to have a little fun, to take a moment away from the challenges of work, but you're still working, you're still connecting, you're still creating this teamwork. And it's important that all these things that we're doing, yes, they're fun, but they have a purpose, and they're creating that purpose is to create that success down the road. So those are 3 of my favorite appreciation, positive support ideas. I want to give you a couple other ideas. Competition, when we talk about fun, I think competition is a big opportunity to create fun. And one of my favorite ideas, I had a client that they did a gift card shop for charity. And so they created teams, gave a certain amount of a gift card for each team, and it was for a women's shelter, and said, all right, you have an hour, go purchase as much as you can for this $100 gift card we were at a mall, we were at the Mall of America in Minneapolis, go purchase as much as you can. And so you have these teams running through the mall, and the time spent was an hour, and they were trying to negotiate with the different stores and see if they could get things on sale and see if they could get more. And all those things were happening, right, with each team. And so again, they're bonding, they're creating respect, they're appreciating each other, they're having fun together. And what does that do? That creates a great team. That creates this element that we're missing when we want passion. And so if we don't take time for fun, if we don't take time to create these moments, this is what creates the passion. Passion for the brand, passion for your team, passion for your customers. And so we have to take a few moments to create this. And so that gift shop for charity was super fun. Another competition idea that a client had was they created a mini golf course at their home office. And so anytime a partner or a vendor in this 1-month time frame would come to visit, anybody who visited the office, they would pay however much they wanted to pay, a few dollars, whatever they wanted, to play this mini golf course that they created through the office. And again, takes a few moments. Remember, we're the myth of fun will interrupt business. We don't have time for fun. Fun is not going to be inclusive. We're not a fun company. All these things can happen. We can interrupt our business for a few moments. We do have time for fun. Fun is about being inclusive and including everyone, and we are a fun company. And so create a mini golf course for charity, gift card shop for charity, all competition ideas. Surprise is another big element of fun. And two of my favorite ideas, one is I want to talk about a 4-foot chess piece. Now, this is a telecommunications company. And so if anybody was having a bad day, this chess piece, which was 4 feet tall, would just show up in their office. If they went to the bathroom, they went to lunch, if someone felt they needed a little energy, a little pick-me-up, this chess piece would appear. And it would rotate around the office, and this happened over the course of many months. When I heard the story, my friend was called up, and he was in the Army Reserve, and he was called up. He was sent to Kuwait, and all of a sudden, the chess piece arrived at his base. And so his friends, or his coworkers at the telecommunications company, sent this chess piece across the world and showed up at his base in Kuwait. And then he took that 4-foot chess piece around the base and took photos. The latrine, the mess hall, on a tank, it was everywhere. And he would include some of his buddies to take the photos, to be part of the fun. So this 4-foot chess piece created fun and energy and passion and caring at a telecommunications company and an Army base across the world, all because of just a little bit of silliness and a little bit of a surprise with this 4-foot chess piece. So what is your chess piece? What can you do to create that same kind of fun? I'll give you even simple. You don't have to buy a 4-foot chess piece. I'll give you another simple idea. I was at an event and people would come up to me and say, do you have the Sacagawea quarter? Or not a quarter, the dollar, the Sacagawea dollar. And I would say, no, I don't have a Sacagawea dollar. And so someone had the Sacagawea dollar, and you had to ask. And so it made you talk to other people. It made you introduce yourself. It made you connect until you found the dollar, and then you had it. And then if somebody asked you if they had the Sacagawea dollar, you would have to give them. And so this was over the course. So each day this would happen. At the end of the day, of meeting, whoever had that dollar got a gift card. And again, took just a little bit of time. Did it interrupt what we were doing in our very serious business? Did it affect whether we are a fun company? Was it inclusive? Yeah. All that happened with just a dollar, just a Sacagawea dollar. So again, fun is easy to create. Fun is easy to think about. Fun, and when we start creating these moments, we engage, we appreciate, we create this positive environment that energizes us, that creates opportunity. And remember, when you put opportunity and positive support together, it's amazing what can happen, because that's what we all want. We want opportunity and we want positive support. And unfortunately, those are the two things that we don't get enough of. And when we create those two things, when we create the opportunity to have fun and we match it with appreciation and positive support, again, all of a sudden, we're creating that ownership and responsibility. And what happens? We start to care. And when we care, then we have passion. So that's what I want you to think about. I'm going to give you one more fun idea, is skit night. I talk about in the book, skit night. This is a property management client. And the night before the conference started, they made a big deal and they had skit night. So each region had to produce a skit. And this started when it was a very small company, and that 15 or 20 people that were in the company, they would go do karaoke. and to celebrate the end of the year, or to celebrate the end of the fiscal year. And so as the company got larger and larger, and several hundred people and hundreds of people and thousands of people, and then you had these leaders, and you had 500 leaders that would meet, skit night continued. And so karaoke turned into this skit, and they would be videos and music and lip sync, and that each region would be tasked with creating this skit night. And I was talking to the CEO, and I was asking about the history of skit night and what it means, because it was a big deal. It created a lot of excitement that the region that and they recorded it, and it was a show, and it was a big evening of talent and a big evening of entertainment. And he told me the night that they do skit night is, I mean, that's great, but that's just sprinkles on the cupcake. I mean, we have a lot of fun doing skit night, but what he's after is the time that was spent creating those skits together before the conference, because that time spent, again, connected his team members, and they bonded, and they built respect, and they created opportunity for each other. More importantly, they were equals. And so you had different levels that were all working on skit night from all the different departments, because everybody had to participate. And so what you're doing is creating that mutual respect, creating that bond that they're going to use when there's an obstacle, a challenge, when they have to meet a goal, or something is happening that they have to overcome. They're gonna revert back to the time spent creating skit night, laughing, having fun, bonding, talking about things that didn't really focus on the element of what they were doing, but what the element of putting the skit together. And so all that time spent was fun, and it was creating that idea that fun is important, and fun is a part of our business, that time should be spent on it, and the result is success and successful teamwork. And that company, year after year, is voted one of the best places to work, top company in the industry. It's actually a leader in the property management industry. And so all these things are happening because of the time spent making sure we created fun. And remember, it's about creating that opportunity. What is that opportunity? I know when we put this together, we put this webinar together, and we started talking about what we wanted to talk about, is we want to talk about engaging our team members. And that opportunity is a big part of it. We want to engage the team. And when was the last time you asked your team member, what is it that's going to fulfill you? What is it that's going to make you happy? What is that opportunity? And you're going to be surprised by the answer. And the answer is, it's not more money. We all want more money. That's a given. But what is it that's going to really fulfill us and make us happy? What is that opportunity? Do we want more training? Do we want an opportunity to go to a conference? Do we want an opportunity for a different role or responsibility? What is that opportunity that's going to help us be fulfilled and be happy? And you're going to be surprised by the answer as a leader. And so when you understand what that opportunity is, your goal as a leader is to ask your team members, what is it? What do they need to be happy and fulfilled? And when you have that answer, now you have a blueprint of what you need to give, what they want that's going to fulfill them and reward them. And what do you get back in return? You get a passionate, energized team member that's going to help you reach your goals. It's going to help the company be successful. It's going to, whatever goals that we want to achieve, they're there if we create that opportunity, because we have a fulfilled team member. And what do you think that's going to happen to retaining those team members, right? To recruiting those team members? Because if they're not happy and fulfilled, they're going to go work someplace else, right? They're going to figure out they're not happy. And hopefully, before they figure it out, they're not going to turn into a bye-bye person. A bye-bye person is they don't care about the team, the brand, the customer. They don't care. Bye-bye. We all know bye-bye people. They walk among us. And bye-bye people do not care, right? And so because they're not happy, they're not fulfilled. Eventually, they figure this out, and they leave. They go work someplace else. And then we have to use our resources to train a new person, to recruit a new person, to get that person up to speed. All the while, that's going to affect all of us. That's going to affect our stress and our frustration. So when we create that opportunity and we match it with positive support, then we have that fulfillment, because that's what we all want more than anything: opportunity and positive support. Awesome. All right, I'm going to check the chat. How we doing? How we feeling? Is this what we want to talk about? I see a lot of ta-das. Nicole Longchamp threw out a big ta-da. Lenine Brown, ta-da. Brenna Worrell, I hope I said that right. Tori Benyo, John Cron, ta-da. Lots of ta-das. Fantastic. Jason says outstanding education and reminders. Thank you, Jason. Jay says fun. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to try something. I'm going to give you guys a little opportunity, and I'm going to try something. A lot of times when I do these webinars on the Zoom, I see everybody, and we don't have that capability today. Totally get it. So what I want to do is I want to give everybody an opportunity. Here's the goal. I want you to be loud, so loud that somebody checks in on you, looks at you, kind of peeks in through the office, trying to figure out. And so we're gonna do this until someone in the chat says, yeah, someone was wondering what I was up to. Okay? All right. So grab a pen, stapler, whatever you got. We're gonna do some emotions. I'm gonna give you the opportunity to do some emotions. And so even though you're by yourself, I don't pretend I can see you, and I want to give you that opportunity. So for instance, surprise. Let's say everybody's surprised by their pen. Here, my surprise would be, no, I brought a highlighter. No way. Wow. Are you kidding me? I can't wait to highlight. I can't wait to highlight. Unbelievable. All right, everybody, I know you're by yourself. I want you to do your surprise. Throw it down, be nice and loud. I want to give you that opportunity. Awesome. Very good. Let me see it in the chat. How does it going? Everybody doing their surprise? Very good. Brandy Carroll said, this is great. I'm the coordinator for team building events here at my company. We have a lot of fun. Good. Brandy, I would love to hear your ideas. Throw me one of the ideas that you do for team building. I would love to hear that. All right. Let's do angry. Let's do angry. Like you're angry. You're very angry. You're very angry at I can't even believe this is yellow. Are you kidding me? I specifically said I wanted orange. Who do I talk to? I would like to talk to the manager. This is my wife, Karen. We specifically came into this business looking for orange highlighters. All right, I want everybody to do angry. Throw it down. Let me put it in the chat how to go. And if you're in a group setting, that would be great, because I am just giving you the opportunity and a little positive support. And when you put those two things together, it's amazing what happens. Jay threw down. Oh, Jay, very good. I'm in a group setting and can't be very loud. Nicole, I want it very loud. I want someone to look at you. I want someone to check in on you and wondering what you're doing. Okay, so far we've done competitive go-kart racing, whitewater rafting, ATVs. We're an adventurous bunch. They just came and took my caffeine away because I shouted out in excitement about a highlighter. There we go. And success. Okay, I want to tell you guys a story. This is a story about a magic harmonica. This is my magic harmonica. This story is about losing my job. So we're talking about engagement. Everybody, no matter where you are in your career, eventually you're going to lose your job. This happened to me in 1991. I had just moved to Dallas. I was working in Michigan. I was recruited down to Dallas to work at a newspaper, the Dallas Times-Herald. And so I had joined the paper, and I didn't realize, though, that I had jumped on board the Titanic right at first, but it did not take long for me to figure out, toot, toot, hang on, let me jump on board, one more, that I had jumped on board the Titanic. The people that are on the Titanic didn't know they were on the Titanic. I fully knew I was on the Titanic. I just didn't know when I was going to hit the iceberg. So 6 months, it was first week in December, they call me up. They say, tomorrow's the last newspaper. Come clean out your desk. Okay. And this is by the way, this is the favorite chapter in my book, chapter 2, the story of losing my job and the magic harmonica and what this meant, what this magic harmonica meant to me about attitude, about engagement. And I'm going to talk about that, but I want to talk about the story of the magic harmonica. So they said, come clean out your desk. You lost your job. Tomorrow's the last newspaper. So I left my 1-bedroom apartment with very little furniture, and I grabbed this harmonica. Now, this is not an often occurrence. I don't often leave the house. Where's my harmonica? And so I, for some reason, grabbed my harmonica as I was going out the door. And now I am musically tone deaf. I don't have any music ability, but a harmonica gives you the opportunity to sound like you actually a little bit know what you're doing. Like I couldn't grab a saxophone or guitar and you would immediately know, oh, he can't play the saxophone or guitar. But right now you're a little unsure. You're like, maybe he does play the harmonica. I do not, but I can do a nice blues note. Okay? It's a magic. Oh, you don't hear it? Kelly, you don't hear? Is the microphone? They don't hear them. They don't hear it? You don't hear the harmonica in the chat? You don't hear it on the mic? Oh, they don't hear it. Oh, no.
They might be muting it.
Kelly says, I think Zoom edits it out. Okay. You hear me talking, but you don't hear the harmonica. Okay. Can't hear it. It may be overpowering the mic. Okay. All right. All right. Let me try. We'll see if we can't work it out. Just know that this harmonica really sounds great. Okay. So I walked out the door. I have this magic harmonica, and I go down, and of course, everybody just lost their job. People are angry. They're confused. They're upset. They're sad. They're disappointed. All the emotions that you would feel when you lose your job. And so I kind of surveyed the situation, and I don't know why I did this. It wasn't a plan, but I found my way on the back loading dock. And on that back loading dock, the media had gathered. The other newspapers, radio stations, TV stations, and they're covering the closure of this daily newspaper. It's a big deal in 1991. It's a big deal that the newspaper closed. And again, people are angry and upset. They're crying. Absolutely. People have been there for decades. I'd been there for 6 months. And so I had this magic harmonica, and I did this blues note. So I hope you can hear it. So I said, I just grabbed the harmonica. I said, I got no job. Got no money. They said, clean out your desk. You have to leave. It's over. Come clean out your desk. You have no job. Goodbye. But in 35 years, you'll be on a chart webcast, and they won't be able to hear the harmonica. True story. So what happened was the TV stations, you could literally hear the cameras go because oh, hang on. I hope some people heard it. It's funnier Kelly says it's funnier this way without the harmonica. I don't know the exact words, but it was pretty close to something like that I was singing the newspaper blues, that I lost my job, and the cameras just zoomed in. And it taught me a lot. And what it teach me, and I think this is really important when we talk about engagement with our team, is this magic harmonica taught me, one, that I got to choose my attitude. Something tough happened. I lost my job, right? And that's I wasn't planning. How am I going to pay rent? How am I going to eat? What am I going to do? Am I going to have to move to another city? I mean, all these things are going through my mind, but this magic harmonica made me focus and choose my attitude. And what I chose was, I'm going to have fun. I chose, I'm going to be positive and supportive. I'm going to have a great attitude about this situation, because I don't control the change and disruption that I lost my job. I only control how I reacted to it. And how I reacted to it was, I chose my attitude. The second thing that the magic harmonica taught me was that I've got to reduce my stress. When you have a magic harmonica, it sounds great. I'm so bummed that you guys can't hear. I don't understand. I think maybe next time we'll have to have a separate microphone. I don't know. Man, I sound good today, though. It sounds literally, this is Bob Dylan-esque. This is exactly how Bob Dylan sounded. If you can't hear my harmonica, just know that I'm sounding as good as Bob Dylan right now. So it taught me to reduce my stress, to not be stressed about losing my job, because the focus was the fun. The focus was the energy, was putting myself out there. It created confidence, right? If I'm going to go out in front of all the standing media and play a harmonica and say, I just lost my job, I got no money, I'm singing the newspaper blues, they told me to come clean out my desk, I'm definitely confident in this, right? I'm embracing change. Remember, I don't control the change. I only control how I react to change. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute for sure, right? So embracing change, I'm focusing on the moment. I'm focusing on the moment and really being present to what is occurring. And that, again, creates confidence. And because I'm embracing change, I'm reducing stress. And it's okay to take a risk. It's okay to put yourself out there, because finally, the last thing that the magic harmonica, this moment, really taught me was to be who you are. And who I am is fun and whimsy and silly, and I'm creating energy, because what I did, not only did this magic harmonica help me in the moment of losing my job, but it helped all my friends, right? And so later that night, we're at the wake of, we all lost our jobs. We're sitting around, all of us in somebody's living room, watching the TV news about, again, this is covering that we all lost our jobs. And the story starts off with me, a stupid kid, playing the harmonica, singing the newspaper blues. And so immediately, everybody turns and looks at me, right? And they start laughing, and then we start talking about this stupid idea of playing the harmonica and playing the newspaper blues in front of the media. And then we turned to another station. They started the broadcast off with me playing the harmonica. Why? Because it was unique. It was different. It was different than everybody else. Why were they drawn to me playing the harmonica? It was because I'm not angry. I'm not confused. I'm not sad. That's normal. This is something different, something unique. And then there's a big photo in the Fort Worth Star-Telegram with me playing the harmonica. Kelly put a link to talking about the story. And it really taught me a lot. And that moment, I think, put me on a path, and really put me on the path that fulfilled me, that created that energy. And so what I want you guys to think about is, what is your magic harmonica? And how can we create this magic harmonica moment for our team? This moment where we have clarity, this moment where we realize what is important, and what is important to us, and what we're going to really embrace. Because remember, again, what the magic harmonica taught me in this moment. 1, reducing stress. 2, choosing my attitude. 3, creating confidence. 4, focusing on the moment of what's happening right now, not worrying about, okay, what's going to happen next month? Am I going to have to move to a different city? How am I going to look for a job? Am I going to have to move apartments? Focus on right now, right? That sometimes we have to take risks. And finally, be who you are. Be your true, authentic self. And that's what the magic harmonica taught me. And so those, and I talk about that, again, this is my favorite chapter in my book, is it's important because we have to engage and talk about these 7 elements with our team. We want our team to choose their attitude. We want them to reduce stress and create confidence and embrace change and focus on the moment and take a risk and be who they are. And if we can engage with our team for them to make those choices, think about what that's going to do to their passion, to the brand, their passion for their customers, the passion for whether it's a restaurant, a hotel, a club, whatever their position is in the hospitality industry, what's going to happen is we're going to have a really energized team member that's going to take take charge of their attitude, and that's going to create success, and that's going to create these special moments for the customer, and these special moments are what create the culture and what create the brand. And so that's, I wish, man, I sound good. Andrew, don't I, my producer, don't I sound good today?
100%. Yeah, this is crazy that Zoom is doing this to you.
Man, I am just playing this harmonica. Oh, I'm glad you didn't hear that one note. So the magic harmonica is about creating these moments, and we talked about change and disruption. And I want to talk just a quick moment about how important it is that we embrace the change. And especially what's happening in the world, economy, and there's a lot of uncertainty coming up, and there's going to be change and disruption. And do we control that change? Do we control that disruption? No. We only control how we react. And how are we going to react to make sure that our team is successful, that the brand is successful, that we create and keep these culture that we're proud of, is that we have to embrace that change. Change is going to happen whether we like it or not, or most change is completely out of our control. I did not control that I lost my job, but I did control how I reacted to it, that I used the magic harmonica to choose my attitude, and that attitude helped me in the weeks and months that followed as I was looking for my next job, my next opportunity. It gave me that confidence. It taught me that it's important to take a risk, to put yourself out there, to try something new. And you're going to be at your best when your stress is down and your passion is up. And how important it is to be present in the moment with what we do. Because all those choices that the magic harmonica was teaching me in that moment allowed me to start doing, I started going to stand-up open mics. I took some workshops with an improv group. I auditioned for that improv group and was asked to join. All these things happened because of that moment. I don't even know if I'm standing here, if I didn't lose my job in 1991, if I didn't have that magic harmonica moment, I don't know if I'm standing here, because I'm probably still working at the newspaper. And then maybe I'm promoted, or maybe I get another job at it because I was really focused on the career as a journalist. I loved that. I loved I was passionate about it. I loved what I was doing. I loved telling people stories. And so I don't even know if I don't lose my job, do I start doing stand-up open mics because I have a lot of free time? Do I audition for the improv group? Do I find this love for improv and want to share this love of improv as a keynote speaker? And then be here this moment with this webinar with Chart. I don't know if all of that happens. So sometimes you have to have this change and disruption to create these moments of clarity, to create these moments that allow you to focus on what that guiding light is, what we're looking for. And if we don't embrace change, if we don't embrace the moment, then we don't learn, because change is going to happen. Some change is awesome, and some change is difficult and hard, but change is going to happen whether we like it or not. And it's important to embrace and understand that. The second thing I want to talk about change is to be open and flexible. I had to be open and flexible to that moment. And when we're doing improv, is that it's all about building on each other's idea, helping each other find success. I want my entire team to be successful. And so that openness and flexibility allows that to happen, right? So embracing change, being prepared for change, being open and flexible to change. And before we got a couple minutes here, and then we'll open it up to maybe some questions and talk about the book a little bit. Is I want you guys to really think about asking your team what makes them happy, what makes them fulfilled, right? And really making sure the managers, the shift managers, the general managers ask every single person what makes them happy, what makes them fulfilled. And because it's going to be easy for them to create that opportunity. And when we create that opportunity, we start building that passion. We start building that energy. We start creating that confidence. The team is focused on the moment. And you're going to be surprised by the answer and how easy it is for you to create that opportunity, to engage with that team member. All right. I want to talk about, we got just a few more seconds, and I'd love for you guys, any questions about change, teamwork, improv, leadership, any of the ideas that I talked about appreciation, competition, surprise, any of the things that we want to talk about. I would love to see some questions in the chat because we have a few minutes left. I do just want to pitch my book, Make the Right Choice, Lead with Passion, Elevate Your Team, and Unleash the Fun at Work. Every chapter is about all these different topics. There's a chapter on teamwork and a chapter on appreciation, and a chapter on change and communication in much greater detail with lots of ideas and quick ideas for you to think about, quick ideas to do with the team, quick ideas to embrace, to engage and embrace that change with the team. All right? All right, for questions, it's very important. I'm going to put on my webinar question jacket. You guys like it? All right. What are some ideas to get through a team member that has a negative outlook or attitude, from Brandy Carroll? Great question, Brandy. You know, you come with your attitude. And I think sometimes you think of it as a bell curve, right? You have your superstars, and those superstars, they're going to be excited about everything. And you have the middle part, and that's the group that we have to really, we have to really embrace. We got to really motivate. We got to inspire. We got to really energize those people. And then you have the end of the bell curve, those negative people, right? And if you have that negative outlook, you have that negative attitude, I wish I could say there's this magic potion. There's this little thing that you can do to turn them around. And I think if we spend too much time trying to make people happy that aren't happy, we're ignoring the rest of the curve. We're ignoring our superstars, and eventually they're going to feel that they're not appreciated, and then they're going to go be superstars for somebody else. We're going to not spend enough time with the middle group who are ready. They're ready to be inspired. They're ready to have a great attitude. They're ready to be motivated. They're ready to be a great team member. They're not stars yet, but they want to be. They just have to, they need a little more mentoring. They need a little more positive support. And so we spend too much time because we're not going to make that group happy. And so the sooner that we understand that, and sometimes we have to let some people go because they are negative. They aren't happy. It doesn't work, right? We're not going to, you have your attitude. You come. I don't know how you got through the hiring process, but you did. And now you're your authentic self, and you're negative and you're unhappy. And I can't change that. And so that's my thought process. Jay Hartwig says he's wearing the same jacket. I believe you. How do you get someone who isn't naturally disposed or willing to have some fun and yell at work, for example? Remember, fun means something different to everybody, okay? If my fun isn't about yelling at work, then I don't want you to make somebody yell at work. That's not their fun. But let's figure out what their fun is. Think about math class, okay? I'm terrible at math. I can't do math. This part of the brain that has math in it shut down a long time ago. But you remember, think about math class in high school. You're in Algebra 2, you're in geometry. Let's shout out to Mr. Tarver, my geometry teacher. Shout out. He had a nice perm, looking sweet. I wish I had a photo I could throw up of Mr. Tarver right there. I hated geometry. I really can't tell you, in the things that I hate in life, it's right up there. It is right up there. And so, but there's someone right next to me in class, and they solve a geometry problem, and they're really excited. Remember that person? Really excited they solve an algebra problem because that was fun. Think about an engineer, an architect, right? Creating something, solving something. That's not fun for me, but that's fun for them. So let's not make, if yelling, if doing a big thing, a big stuff, that's not your fun. We don't want to make, remember, fun is about being inclusive. We don't want to make people do something that's not fun for them. We want them, what is their fun? Let's figure out what their fun is, because it means something different to everybody. But that fun should inspire, it should create energy, it should create passion, and let's figure out what it is that's going to create that fun, okay? Totally agree. In our group, we call that the top 20%. We focus on spending time developing our top 20 rather than spending the most time on the lower 80. But think about it as that bell curve, that 60 wants to be part of that 20. Maybe they haven't had that opportunity yet. Maybe they just need a little more motivation. Maybe they need a little more opportunity, a little more positive support. And when you, again, create that, all of a sudden, some of that 60% becomes the top. But I truly believe that the negative, you come with that attitude, I can't change that attitude. I can't change. Remember, the middle, they don't have a negative attitude. They're just maybe haven't really put forth what they need to create, to be a superstar, and they need a little more time, training, opportunity. Whatever they need to create that, okay? Jason, that was from Jack Wozniak. Thank you, Jack. That was a great, fantastic comment. You're teaching us amazing ideas and strategies. Thank you. This is from Jason Lechner. My question is, what habits do you have in your daily, weekly routines that keep you engaged, motivated, humble, excited, energized? That's excellent. That's a good question. One is, every day when you go home from work, think about all the people that you had contact with, right? Think about every team member, partner, customer, vendor. Did you give the positive support and appreciation? Did you say thank you? Did you say I appreciate you? Say, I forgot, man, I didn't have time. I get it. We're very busy. I get it, right? And so what we want to do is think about that on the way home. So tomorrow we can give that positive support. We can say thank you. We can appreciate. And I don't text, email, see them in the hall, write them a letter. Doesn't matter. We all want to hear that positive support. So if you just think about it and that's something that I do at the end of every day. So did I give the people that deserve that positive support? And if I didn't, if I forgot, then the next day, I'm going to make sure to give that positive support and appreciation. Another thing that I like to do is I like to connect. And it brings me joy. Figure out what brings you joy. And connecting people, referring friends brings me joy and gets me energized and motivated. And at the end of the day, I have a list, and I'll make a little connection. I did one yesterday to two of my friends that both run advertising agencies that I think they should connect, because they're both focused on great work cultures and great work and great people. And I thought they should connect. So that's one of the things that I like to do to create that energy, and it motivates me and gets me excited. The other thing is I love to give back. I think that's a big part of what makes me happy. Figure out, again, what is fun, what brings you joy. And giving back is something that I like to do. I'm doing something on Friday with an organization, a leadership organization, for sophomores in high school that I've spent a lot of time supporting that organization, speaking at that organization. All right, there's a couple ideas. Liz Chambers, where do I buy a jacket like that? Amazon, probably the best $65 I've ever spent. I just want to go ahead and model that. And it's incredibly well made, by the way. It's got pockets and everything. So Jason Legner, outstanding tactics and habits. Thank you. Liz Chambers says thanks. Jay Hartwig. Sorry, Jay. Love that. Thank you. James Frank says, Joel, thank you. I had an absolute fantastic time. I encourage everyone. By the way, we had 147 people sign up for this webinar, which is an incredible number. Chart was really excited, so thank you for thank you. Kevin McCarthy says that just ordered the book for the team. Thank you, Kevin. And I would like to, Kelly, I'm going to shout out my friend Kelly at Whataburger, by the way. Kelly at Whataburger, if you're wondering. Yeah, her testimonial first. Number one, I'd like to point this out. The great Kelly McCutcheon, right there, Group Director of Training and Development, Whataburger, praise for the book right there, number one. And I'd like to point out, she is here's Olympic champion, Carly Patterson. Where's Kelly? Number one, Olympic champion, Carly Patterson, right there. Yeah, so Kelly, got a lot going for you. Here's the book, Amazon, Barnes & Noble. We're going to throw up, there's a little QR code. If you don't know how to get to Amazon, or there's a QR code if you don't know how to get to Amazon. And what I did with Kelly's team, she bought 25 copies, and we did a free Zoom call and had a little book leadership club, and it was a lot of fun. And I'll make that offer to everybody on the call here, and we had a great time. So the book, Barnes & Noble. I have a son going off to college. We got to pay for college. JoelZeff.com. Would love to do these virtual events with some of the team here. And most of the time we do it where we see everybody and we can interact, and everybody's doing the ta-da together. Everybody's doing bunny together, and we have a couple games that we can do when I see everybody. So just wanted you to think about that. And of course, available to come and bring improv as a keynote to your event. I want to thank everybody. Kelly says, thanks, Joel. I stand by that rec. It's a great book. Thank you, Kelly. Great job, Jeff. Great. I was called Jeff. I mean, Joel. Shannon says, love your boo. Shannon, I hope I'm pretty sure you're going to say, I think that's book. Okay. All right. Wonderful webinar. Feeling fun, excited. Huge ta-da, everybody. Big ta-da. Thank you. And we're going to finish off this webinar. Thank you, Chart, an amazing organization. By the way, this book does not exist without Chart. Someone, Crunch Time, saw me at Chart speak. They had me speak at their conference. Cinemark saw me at Crunch Time. I spoke at their conference. They wanted to buy books, copies of the first edition of the book, and copies weren't available. I called the publisher, and one thing led to another, the right time, at the right moment, at the right person, and they said, let's do a new book. And all that happened because of Chart and Crunch Time and Cinemark. So thank you, everyone at Chart. You guys are extremely special to me. So thank you for everything that you do to create great work cultures, to create great teams, to have fun. And it's just an honor to be a part of this. Thank you for the opportunity, and stay in touch. Thank you.
Thank you, Joel. Bye-bye, everyone.
Big ta-da, thank you.